Here's a psychology fact you're not ready for. The more you want people to like you, the more power you give them to destroy you. Most people don't realize this, but your brain has been lying to you about approval. It tells you that being liked keeps you safe. But Machiavelli warned the opposite. Trying to be loved makes you weak, predictable, and easily controlled. Psychologists call this approval dependency. And once you understand it, you'll see why you stay quiet when you should speak, why you shrink when you should rise, why the world walks over you while pretending to care. You learned to chase validation because you believed it protected you, but it didn't protect you, it tamed you. But here's where it gets even worse. Your desire to be liked didn't come from choice. It came from fear. Psychology says people don't respect you because you're kind. They respect you because you have boundaries, self-respect, and consequences. Most people stop here, and that's the biggest mistake. They think the solution is to be confident. But confidence doesn't come from being liked. It comes from being willing to be disliked. This happens because your brain is addicted to social safety. It wants approval because approval once meant survival. But today, this instinct kills your strength. Your mind thinks that people liking you gives you power, but the reality is, people respecting you gives you power. If that hit you, good. It means you needed it. If you want to break this cycle, start with this. Stop asking, do they like me? Start asking, do they respect me? Why weak men crave approval. Here's another harsh truth you're not ready for. People pleasers are not kind, they're afraid. You flatter people because you're scared of rejection. You stay silent because you're scared of conflict. You stay agreeable because deep down you believe you're not enough. Psychologists call this self-abandonment. It happens every time you sacrifice your truth to gain someone else's comfort. Your relationships, your habits, even your confidence, all of it is influenced by this one psychological pattern. You fear being alone more than you fear being disrespected. But here's where it gets even worse. People sense this fear, and humans are hardwired to exploit weakness. Here's the painful part. The more you try to be liked, the more people secretly resent you. Why? Because you're predictable. Predictable people are not respected. And in Machiavellian philosophy, predictability is death. Here's the part nobody wants to admit. Being nice is not the reason people ignore you. People ignore you because you've trained them to. This happens because you say yes when you mean no. You apologize when you did nothing wrong. You laugh at jokes that aren't funny. You let people step over your boundaries because you don't want to upset them. Your brain does this to protect you from rejection, but by avoiding small moments of discomfort, you create giant waves of regret. If that hurt, good. It means the truth woke you up. If you want to break this cycle, start with this. Say no once a day, even to small things. Let your brain learn that rejection doesn't kill you. Machiavelli's dark law of respect. Here's a psychology fact you were never taught. Being feared is more reliable than being loved. Machiavelli didn't mean be cruel. He meant being respected holds power. Being liked does not. Psychologists call this dominance signaling. Not physical dominance, psychological dominance. The ability to stand firm in who you are without bending for approval. And once you understand it, you'll see why some people command rooms without speaking. Why some men can say one sentence and change the entire tone of a conversation. Why a few individuals instantly attract respect without trying. But here's where it gets even worse. You've been conditioned to believe that strength is dangerous, that confidence makes you arrogant, that assertiveness makes you rude. This is the biggest mistake. Society doesn't want you strong because strong people don't follow. Strong people don't obey. Strong people don't stay quiet. Here's the painful truth. Your softness didn't come from kindness. It came from conditioning. Your parents wanted you obedient. Your teachers wanted you compliant. Your society wants you agreeable. So now, as an adult, every time you feel the urge to stand up for yourself, your brain screams, "Stay safe, stay quiet, stay liked." Here's the part nobody wants to admit. Being liked feels good, but being respected feels powerful. This happens because humans subconsciously rank each other. Every interaction is a subtle negotiation of status. When you act like you need approval, you automatically lose status, and people treat you based on the status you project. Your mind thinks approval protects you, but the reality is approval enslaves you. Here's the truth you've been avoiding. No one can respect a man who doesn't respect himself. If you want to break this cycle, start with this Machiavellian principle. Create distance before offering closeness. People value what's scarce, not what's always available. Section 4. The death of your approval addiction. 18 to 28 minutes. Here's a harsh psychology fact you were never taught. You're addicted to being liked because you've never learned to validate yourself. Psychologists call this externalized self-worth. It means your identity depends on what others think of you. But once you understand it, you'll see why every insult hits hard, why every ignored message feels like a wound, why every disagreement feels like danger. But here's where it gets worse. People judge you harshly when they sense you want their approval. It makes you look needy, and neediness kills attraction, respect, and influence. Most people stop here, and that's the biggest mistake. They think they need more confidence. No, you need less attachment. Here's the painful truth. Your fear of being disliked is exactly why people overlook you. Because your brain learned to avoid conflict at all costs, but conflict is where power is born. Powerless men run from conflict. Dangerous men navigate it. Your mind thinks don't upset anyone leads to peace, but the reality is it leads to self-betrayal. Here's the truth you've been avoiding. You cannot be powerful and people-pleasing at the same time. If you want to break this cycle, start with this. Practice micro-discomfort, a tiny daily act that forces your brain to stop choosing safety. Say the truth even when your voice shakes. State your boundary even if someone frowns. Walk away even if they call you selfish. Each act is psychological rebellion. Each act rewires you.
Here's a psychology fact they never taught you. Respect doesn't come from being agreeable. Respect comes from being unmovable. Psychologists call this non-reactivity. It means your emotions are not controlled by other people's opinions. But here's where it gets worse. Most people live in reactive mode. Someone insults them, they crumble. Someone disagrees, they panic. Someone withdraws affection, they chase. This is the biggest mistake, because when you react emotionally, you lose power. Here's the painful truth. People trust you more when you're calm. They respect you more when you're detached. They follow you more when you don't seek attention. This happens because your brain is wired to mirror authority. And authority is always calm, grounded, and unfazed. Your mind thinks you need to be loud to be strong, but Machiavelli teaches the opposite. Strength is silent. Weakness is loud. Here's the truth you've been avoiding. If you want respect, you must be willing to disappoint people. If you want to change your life, start with this habit. Speak 20% less, observe 80% more. You'll instantly become more unpredictable. And unpredictable people are dangerous. The Machiavellian rebirth of self. Here's a psychology fact that will sting. You don't lack strength. You lack permission to use it. But once you understand this, everything changes. Because the moment you stop seeking approval, your real personality emerges. Your assertiveness emerges. Your charisma emerges. Your authority emerges. But here's where it gets even worse. Your old self will fight to survive. The people pleaser in you will panic. It will whisper, they won't like you. They'll think you're rude. You're being selfish. This is the biggest mistake, believing that voice. Here's the painful part. The world respects you more when you choose yourself. This happens because everyone admires a person who doesn't fear conflict. Everyone gravitates towards someone who isn't emotionally needy. Everyone follows a man who leads his own life. Your mind thinks being liked opens doors. But the reality is, being respected opens kingdoms. Here's the truth you've been avoiding. You were never meant to be agreeable. You were meant to be formidable. If that hit you, good. Your transformation has already started. If you want to break this cycle, start here. Take one action a day that prioritizes your standards over someone else's comfort. The final transformation. Here's the final psychology fact. The moment you stop needing approval, you become untouchable. Psychologists call this self-anchoring, a state where your identity comes from within, unshaken, unmoved, and unbothered. Most people don't realize this, but everything you ever wanted, respect, attraction, influence, success, all of it appears the moment you stop chasing it. But here's the part nobody wants to admit. Not everyone will like the new you. And that's the point. Some people liked you only because you were weak. Some people stayed because you didn't have boundaries. Some people supported you because you were easy to control. You're not that person anymore. If that hit you, good. It means you're ready. Here's the mental trick that actually works. Ask yourself daily, what would I do right now if I didn't care what anyone thought? Then do that. That one sentence will kill your approval addiction, and slowly, silently, powerfully, it will make you dangerous.